ASEAN Summit to reinforce regional centrality on global stage. US sanctions Russian oil companies after failed Putin talks. Good afternoon and salam Malaysia Madani. I'm Brendan Paul. The upcoming 47th ASEAN Summit in Kuala Lumpur will be a key platform to reinforce ASEAN's central role and showcase Malaysia's commitment to moderation on the global stage. The summit from 26 to 28 October will gather ASEAN leaders along with partners including China, Japan, South Korea, India, Australia, New Zealand and major economies from Europe, Africa and Latin America. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim confirmed the attendance of US President Donald Trump with trade tariffs among the key topics and noted that Thailand's new Prime Minister, Anutin Chanvirakul, will make his first official visit to Malaysia for the event.
Yang agak utama ialah menunjukkan strategi baru Malaysia dan ASEAN membuka jaringan persahabatan dan perdagangan dengan rantau lain termasuk benua Afrika dan Amerika Latin, terutama dengan kehadiran Presiden Cyril Ramaphosa Afrika Selatan dan Lula Brazil. Tapi kehadiran Presiden Donald Trump dengan sendiri juga mengundang perhatian kerana permasalahan tarif akan cuba dirungkai selain daripada beberapa ketetapan yang memerlukan input daripada ASEAN.
Over 30 world leaders are expected, including representatives from the World Bank, IMF, ILO, and FIFA President Gianni Infantino. The summit will focus on regional peace, economic resilience, and inclusive growth under the theme Inclusivity and Sustainability. The Prime Minister also confirmed that Russian President Vladimir Putin will not attend the summit. Datuk Seri Anwar said Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak will represent Russia at the meeting, adding that Putin is exploring the possibility of attending next year. The announcement ends speculation over Putin's possible visit to Malaysia. Datuk Seri Anwar also confirmed that Myanmar's Senior General Min Aung Hlaing will not be attending, in line with ASEAN's 5-point consensus on the country's political crisis. On another note, Datuk Seri Anwar praised Japan's proactive role in Gaza's reconstruction under the CHEPA framework and said he looks forward to further discussions with Japan's new Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi.
Well, I hope to discuss this with the new Prime Minister because this was an initiative taken by Prime Minister Ishiba. We agreed and we jointly chairing this, and together with Japanese have taken some initiative. But I think it is worthy of of respect and mention that the Japanese have taken this seriously to help in the reconstruction of Gaza.
Speaking to local and international media ahead of the ASEAN Summit, the Prime Minister also reaffirmed Malaysia's strong support for Timor-Leste's full membership in ASEAN, calling it a rightful and timely step for the young nation. Datuk Seri Anwar said Timor-Leste had long been part of the region's history under Indonesia and deserves to join the ASEAN family after years of struggle.
And they tried their level best. Malaysia has been very supportive, the Foreign Ministry in particular, in assisting them in whatever is required. They are poor, so most of these countries, when we form ASEAN, is a convergence of the relatively poorer economies. But they still have the potential. To us, we are part of the region. It's our duty to prop up these countries.
US President Donald Trump on Wednesday imposed Ukraine-related sanctions on Russia for the first time in his second term, targeting oil companies Lukoil and Rosneft as his frustration grows with Russian President Vladimir Putin over the war. The U.S. Treasury Department said it is prepared to take further action as it called on Moscow to agree immediately to a ceasefire in Russia's war in Ukraine, which began in February 2022.
Today is a very big day in terms of what we're doing. Look, these are tremendous sanctions. These are very big. Those are against their two big oil companies, and we hope that they won't be on for long. We hope that the war will be settled.
The sanctions are a major policy shift for Trump, who had not put sanctions on Russia over the war and instead relied on trade measures. Trump imposed additional 25% tariffs on goods from India and in retaliation for it purchasing discounted Russian oil. The U.S. has not imposed tariffs on China, another major buyer of Russian oil. A $60 price cap on Russian oil was also imposed by Western countries after Russia's invasion has shifted Russia's oil customers in recent years from Europe to Asia. The International Court of Justice has ruled that Israel must allow more aid into Gaza, saying it is obligated to ensure Palestinians' basic survival needs are met. ICJ President Yuji Iwasawa said Israel must cooperate with UN relief agencies, including UNRWA, which Israel has banned.
In particular, the fact that the OIOS investigation in 2024 led to the dismissal of 9 members of UNRWA personnel due to their possible involvement in the 7 October 2023 Hamas-led attacks against Israel is insufficient to support a conclusion that UNRWA as a whole is not a neutral organization. In addition, the court finds that Israel has not substantiated its allegations that a significant part of UNRWA employees are members of Hamas or other terrorist factions.
While the ICJ's opinion is not legally binding, it carries significant moral and legal weight. Israel rejected the ruling, calling it a political move. The decision comes amid efforts to boost humanitarian aid during a fragile ceasefire. The World Food Programme says aid deliveries remain far below target, with just 750 tons of food a day reaching Gaza, well short of the 2,000 tons needed daily. The ICJ also reminded Israel that starvation cannot be used as a weapon of war under international law. Meanwhile, Ambassador and permanent Palestinian representative to international organizations in the Netherlands, Ammar Hijazi, said the World Court drew clear line on Israel's obligations in occupied territories.
Because we know, as everyone here will be asking, that Israel will not oblige and will not uphold these responsibilities as were delineated by the court. So the responsibility are on those member states and the international community to uphold these values and oblige Israel, bring Israel into compliance to these laws. And there are so many tools. It is not time to take a step back. It's time to take more steps forward. And this is exactly what the court said today in relation to upholding Israel to these standards and these violations. Security considerations are...
In a message on social media platform X, Israel's foreign ministry said it categorically rejected the court's findings and added Israel fully upholds its obligations under international law. Meantime, the World Health Organization has carried out the first medical evacuation from Gaza since the Israel-Hamas ceasefire took effect on 10 October. The medical evacuees, alongside people accompanying them, were moved from a field hospital in Khan Yunis Mawasi area. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said 41 critically ill patients and 145 companions were evacuated, marking the resumption of life-saving transfers halted during months of conflict. He said about 15,000 patients are still waiting for permission to leave Gaza for urgent medical care, as most hospitals in the enclave remain severely damaged. Tedros urged countries to open all routes and speed up medical evacuations to save more lives. Israel has deported 32 foreign activists accused of helping Palestinians harvest olives in the occupied West Bank in violation of a military order. The decision followed a complaint from a settlers' council, which claimed the activists provoked tensions in the area. Among those deported was British national Rudy Shulkin, who said he came to support Palestinian farmers and was held for 72 hours before being expelled. He claimed the group was arrested after Israeli forces declared the area a military zone near Nablus. Israel says the activists were linked to the Union of Agricultural Work Committees, a Palestinian NGO it labeled a terrorist organization in 2021, a move condemned by the UN. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry has condemned the arrests, calling them part of ongoing efforts to restrict Palestinians during the olive harvest season, which has seen increased violence from settlers. A senior UN official has warned of severe long-term health impacts in Gaza as widespread malnutrition among pregnant women and babies continues. UN Population Fund Deputy Executive Director Andrew Saberton said 1 in 4 Gazans is starving, including 11,500 pregnant women, and that 70% of newborns are now premature or underweight compared to 20% before the war.
In Gaza, I was not fully prepared for what I saw. One can't be. The sheer extent of the devastation looked like the set of a dystopian film. Unfortunately, it is not fiction. There's no other way to put it. Gaza has been flattened, mile upon mile of rubble and dust, with few buildings left intact.
Despite the ceasefire, Saberton said only a trickle of aid is entering Gaza, with 94% of hospitals damaged and few able to provide maternity care. He warned of rising maternal deaths and unsafe abortions, while 700,000 women and girls face severe shortages of basic hygiene supplies. Saberton urged an immediate surge of aid and medical support to prevent a worsening humanitarian and health catastrophe. Egypt strengthened partnership with agreements on aid, trade, migration. Stay with us. Thailand's Deputy Finance Minister resigned on Wednesday following allegations linking him to Cambodia-based cyber scam centers. Prime Minister Anutin Chanvirakul ordered Vorapak Tanyawong, a veteran financier who took office just last month, to submit a written explanation this week over the accusations. Vorapak came under scrutiny after a report this week tied him to an alleged foreign fraudster linked to cross-border scam operations in Cambodia, while the whale-haunting newsletter alleged that Vorapak's wife was paid $3 million in cryptocurrencies this year by Chinese Cambodian criminal networks that he was tasked to investigate as part of a government committee. The newsletter has also reported that Vorapak was once listed as an advisor to BIC Bank, a Cambodian bank linked to an alleged money laundering network. Vorapak denied any involvement in illicit activities on Wednesday, telling reporters he was quitting to focus on his legal defense. Anutin also denied that the Thai government pressured him to resign, telling reporters that the move was a show of good spirits on Vorapak's part. At least 42 people have been killed in an oil tanker explosion in Nigeria's central Niger state after the vehicle skidded off the road and crashed, spilling fuel. Abdullahi Baba Ara, head of the Niger State Emergency Service, said another 52 people with varying degrees of injuries are currently receiving treatment at a hospital. Villagers rushed to collect fuel from the overturned tanker, which suddenly exploded, setting off a massive fire that engulfed them. Tanker explosions are a recurring tragedy in Nigeria, despite repeated warnings about the dangers of collecting spilled fuel. The intense blaze burnt many victims beyond recognition, and the injured were taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. The accident occurred near the Esad and Badeji communities along the Bida Agaye Road in the Kacha local government area of Niger State. The tanker carrying petroleum products from Lagos in southern Nigeria to the north is said to have crashed due to the bad condition of the road. In January this year, a truck carrying about 60,000 litres of petrol overturned near Suleja, also in Niger State, killing at least 86 people and injuring nearly 70 others. Elsewhere, the U.S. military has carried out a strike on a suspected drug smuggling vessel in the Pacific Ocean off South America. It marks the first known Pacific operation under Washington's renewed anti-drug offensive, which has already seen at least 7 strikes in the Caribbean, heightening tensions with Venezuela and Colombia. The official said several suspected smugglers were on board the vessel when it was hit, but gave no further details. The Pentagon has yet to comment, but the strike comes amid a major U.S. military buildup in the Caribbean, involving missile destroyers, F-35 jets, a nuclear submarine, and 6,500 troops. The European Union and Egypt signed a series of wide-ranging agreements on Wednesday aimed at deepening political, economic and security cooperation as leaders gathered for the first EU-Egypt summit. European Commissioner President Ursula von der Leyen said the EU would provide €5 billion in macro-financial assistance and open Europe's artificial intelligence factories to Egyptian startups, allowing them to train and test models on European supercomputers.
Second, we are strengthening Egypt's economic stability. We are providing Egypt with €5 billion in macro-financial assistance. It was signed today. And we continue our support to social and economic reforms. The third pillar is we are boosting together investment and trade. The European Union is Egypt's largest trading partner, accounting for a quarter of your trade. Our investment conference last year secured commitments worth €49 billion. That is impressive.
Von der Leyen also announced plans for a Palestine donor group, bringing together international partners to promote reforms and reconstruction efforts in Gaza. Von der Leyen said the new partnership would also strengthen cooperation on migration with €200 million in EU funding over the next 2 years to support host communities and fight human trafficking. Tesla's third quarter profit dropped 37% to $1.4 billion, hit by tariffs and higher costs. Despite stronger car sales, revenue rose 12% to $28.1 billion, but expenses jumped 50% due to bigger spending on research and restructuring. Tesla says it faces short-term uncertainty from trade and tariff issues, but remains focused on long-term growth in AI, energy, and robotics. Analysts expect Tesla sales to pick up only when it launches new models, likely in early 2026. As its 6 November meeting, shareholders will vote on Elon Musk's $1 trillion pay plan, which could boost his stake in Tesla to over 25% if performance goals are met. Musk defended the proposal, saying he needs stronger control as Tesla pursues bold ventures in robotics and AI. Facebook parent company Meta is cutting 600 jobs in its artificial intelligence division to streamline operations after a major hiring spree. According to US media, the cuts target AI product and infrastructure teams, not CEO Mark Zuckerberg's TBD lab, which continues to expand with top recruits from rivals like OpenAI and Apple. Reports say the move aims to reduce bureaucracy and improve efficiency, with some staff expected to be redeployed within the company. A company memo cited by the Wall Street Journal said the change will allow faster decision-making as Meta continues to push its AI and metaverse ambitions. Bellingham pounces to fire Real Madrid to narrow win over Juventus. South Korea's Gangwon FC inflicted a last gasp 4-3 defeat on Vissel Kobe on Wednesday, ending the Japanese side perfect start to the Asian Champions League elite with a winner from Kim Gun-hee. Lee Sang-hyun put the home side in front with an emphatic 7-minute finish, and Mo Tae-hyun doubled the lead 14 minutes later with a powerful downward header following Kim Dae-won's corner. Song Jun-seok completed a disastrous first half for Kobe with a little over 2 minutes remaining until the interval, when he slid his shot through a crowd of players to beat Shuichi Gonda in a Kobe goal. Kobe's introduction of Taisei Miyashiro after the interval swung the game back in their favor, the Japan international pulling one back within 3 minutes of the restart. 2 minutes later, Jean-Patrick hit it in Kobe's second, and Miyashiro was on target again with 2 minutes left, thumping the ball past Park Jun-hyo to pull his side level. Kobe looks set to claim a point that would see them retain top spot in the standings, but Kim Gun-hee pounced in the 95th minute to secure victory for Gangwon. The results leave Ulsan Hyundai on top of the Eastern League standings after 3 rounds, the South Koreans holding a 1-point advantage over Kobe, and Gangwon following their 1-0 win against Sanfrecce Hiroshima on Tuesday. In European football, Harry Kane scored his 20th goal in only his 12th game of the season as Bayern Munich thrashed Club Brugge 4-0 to maintain their 100% start in the Champions League early this morning. The England captain scored one of the easiest goals of his career in the 14th minute when he was left unmarked to tap in Konrad Laimer's ball across the face of goal. Kane's strike followed a sensational one by teenage sensation Lennart Karl 9 minutes earlier as, aged 17 years and 242 days, he became the youngest player to score for Bayern in the Champions League, surpassing Jamal Musiala's previous record by 121 days. On his first start, Karl fired in a stunning left-foot shot into the top corner after shimming past two defenders. Luis Diaz smashed in a third off the underside of the crossbar in the 34th minute. Senegalese striker Nicolas Jackson scored Bayern's 4th from close range in the second half, sealing a 3rd successive win in the competition. Bayern moved up to 2nd behind Paris Saint-Germain in the league phase standings on goals scored with 9 points, while Bruges are 20th with 3 points. The German champions will travel to France on 4th November to face holders PSG, while Club Brugge hosts Barcelona the following day. At the San Mamés Stadium, Athletic Bilbao conceded an opening minute goal but came back to beat Karabakh 3-1 at home, earning their first points of the season's Champions League against the Azerbaijani side, which had won their opening 2 games. The visitors went in front after 48 seconds, the quickest Champions League goal this season, after Bilbao defender Aymeric Laporte and Aitor Paredes failed to deal with a throw-in and Leandro Andrade nipped in to fire past Unai Simon. Bilbao hit back 5 minutes before the break when a long ball over the top from Mikel Jaureguiza sent Gorka Guruzeta racing into the box to smash his low shot under keeper Mateusz Kochalski. Athletic continued to create chances after the interval before substitute Robert Navarro scored 20 minutes from time. Navarro, who had been on the pitch 5 minutes after replacing Nico Williams, hit a stunning strike from the edge of the area which found the far top corner, and Guruzeta wrapped up the win 2 minutes from time with a shot from distance. Bilbao are away to Newcastle United on 5th November, with Karabakh hosting Chelsea the same day. At the Santiago Bernabeu, Jude Bellingham scored his first goal since June as Real Madrid saw off a dogged Juventus to maintain their 100% record in this season's Champions League with a 1-0 victory. After a sluggish first half, the game came alive in the second half with play swinging from one end to the other. The goal was created by Vinicius Jr., who in the 58th minute took on 3 Juventus players and made space to shoot. His attempt rebounded off the post for Bellingham to slot home his first goal of the season since returning from shoulder surgery. Juve, who along with Ajax hold the record for the most wins against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu in European Cup games, are winless since 13 September and have gone 7 consecutive matches without victory in all competitions. They have secured just 2 points from 3 Champions League games, while Madrid have 9 points. This was also the first time Mbappe failed to score since late August. He was on an 11-game streak of scoring in every match he played for Real Madrid and France. And in tennis, top seed Taylor Fritz denied rising star Volonta Vacharov another upset with a 4-6, 7-6, 7-5 win in the first round of the Swiss indoors in Basel on Wednesday. In action for the first time since starting the ATP Tour as the lowest-ranked Masters 1000 champion in Shanghai, Vacharov broke Fritz twice to take the first set. The current world number 4 bounced back but blew 4 set points at 5-3 in the second before edging it in a tiebreak. Fritz also squandered a 4-2 lead in the decider, seeing his serve broken for a 4th time but held on to prevent the 26-year-old Monegasque, who was ranked 204 in the world just 3 weeks ago, his 3rd victory against a top 10 opponent this month. Former US Open finalist Fritz will face France's Ugo Humbert next. Elsewhere, the hard-court ATP 500 event, Norwegian 4th seed Casper Ruud beat French lucky loser Quentin Alice 6-1, 7-6 to set up a meeting with Swiss veteran Stan Wawrinka. Fresh off lifting his A-Tour level title in Brussels on Sunday, 5th seed Felix Auger-Aliassime, meanwhile, triumphed over his Canadian compatriot Gabriel Diallo 6-2, 7-5 to set up a second-round match against former Grand Slam champion Marin Cilic.
Tenaga untuk lebih jimat.
And that concludes today's edition of All Today. In our top story, ASEAN Summit to reinforce regional centrality on global stage. Till then, I'm Berita RTM, Malaysia Madani, Rakyat, Disantuni. Thank you for watching and take care.
Ancaman keganasan sentiasa wujud, termasuk pengganas individu yang bertindak secara sendirian atau dikenali sebagai lone wolf. Individu ini mungkin kelihatan biasa, tetapi mereka boleh menjadi ancaman besar kepada keselamatan awam jika didapati bersalah. Anda boleh disabitkan kesalahan dengan hukuman penjara maksimum 30 tahun dan denda. Bersama, kita memelihara keamanan negara.
juga saya ingatkan pada masyarakat supaya sentiasa berhati-hati akan tidak menjadi mangsa jenayah cyber seperti penipuan keuangan dalam talian atau skema dan pencurian. Saya juga merasa bimbang dengan budaya fitnah dan hasutan di dalam talian dan media sosial yang menyebabkan rakyat keliru, bermusuhan dan berpecah belah. Oleh itu, kerajaan perlu tegas dalam membendung budaya ini dan bersikap proaktif untuk memberikan maklumat yang betul-betul dan